Last one is like policies, right? Oh my god. Should we talk about policies right now? The main thing that I want to talk about policy related just keeps coming back to God, like economy, environment. I feel like I'm just running in circles right now. I'm like, you want to talk about policies? I don't know if I can do it. We'll just call this the intro for now, right? Should I turn the denoise on? Oh, it is on. Cool. It's like I don't see the little red light. There it is. Oh, dude, Spotify. My Spotify has been going off lately. The reason people don't want to lose Spotify is because they have built a relationship with their algorithm. It's the same reason people don't want to lose any platform. They build relationships. Platforms are really just social relationships. Oh yeah, I'm recording the next cast, but trying to figure out where we're at. Not sure. Let's check the blueprint. Ugh, Billie Eilish. Killing it. Absolutely killing it. Oh, policies. We're doing policies, I think. And underneath I wrote ethos, pathos, and logos. Well, that's a whole thing. I feel like I covered it, though, in previous episodes, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that part. I guess it's just written there as a reminder. Thinking about policies. Let's check the images. I made little drawings about this. What do the pictures say? No, that's not the one. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Nope, that's the wrong folder too. Okay, here we go. I fucking hate making blueprints. Here we go. The picture. Show me the picture. Okay. It is a scroll in light cosmic latte bordering white color, and it says, "We, the interested parties, do hereby agree." It's just a sketch, really. And then in like old blood color, it says, "For the sake of the living." And in dirt color, like really good dirt, it says, "In honor of the dead." So that's pretty intense. I get really high key when I draw. Like really high key, and then I come back to whatever I set myself up for in the sketch, and I'm like, bitch, I cannot live up to this, what you gave me. Like, that's inhuman. It's so, like, I would have to be a god to try to explain all that in a nutshell, right? Because the fucking prompt is geopolitical nutshells for the peanut galleries, and we're on number 12, policies. And the art I drew was like, "We, the interested parties, do hereby agree for the sake of the living in honor of the dead." And I'm like, okay. I guess I gave myself two extremes to bounce between. I've been like really having a hard time recording stuff, mainly because like trans grief is so real right now, and I am like not strong really in my trans identity. I'm still going through a lot of like internalized ideas about what it is to be transgender versus the like experience of it in me and in others. And being like, this is so, it just causes so much dissonance to live completely like, or mostly unseen, you know? And it's not like a failing of anybody around you. That's like the first thing a lot of people go to is like, oh, we're not like using their pronouns often enough, or we're not doing this or not doing that enough. It's like, no. It's really not you. It's not like the immediate people as much. Like, I mean, obviously there are people who cause problems or are just downright prejudiced, cruel, abusive, fucked up, you know, in their thinking. But it's like just the larger awareness that especially right now, your identity is not recognized by institutions that are designed to protect and support you in theory. And Americans, I feel, really know the in theory part really well. Russians too, I'm sure. Chinese people too, maybe? I don't know. I feel like I'm treading really dangerous waters when I say all three of those populations together in the same sentence. But at the same time, they're really big movers in the world. Like, and India knows this because they have been one of the largest populations, stable, like, national identities for a very long time. So they're watching with, like, knowing. And so is a lot of other communities that are often not spoken of in what Americans call the Middle East, the continent of Africa. Perception games in global politics are really strong, and that's actually like kind of a good thing. Like, we want to be able to project our idea of ourselves into the world in a way, like as an individual, in a way where you feel seen, right? That's kind of part of it. It's like, I am being the most me I can be. And hopefully those are good things, right? And so when we talk about nations as like having identities, because they do like have this sense of who we are as people, whether or not we like it, whether or not we strongly identify with being a USA citizen or not. And again, if you live in what this country considers its borders and you're subject to its laws, I think of you as a citizen. I just want to reinforce that and remind people that when I say citizen, that's what I mean. Anyone living here and who is subject to the laws that theoretically govern this country, this theoretical country now. It's a very theoretical country right now, isn't it? But yeah, those people are citizens to me. And so they deserve like the protection of their institutions. They deserve the support of their institutions that their tax dollars pay for. This is like a very ancient social contract that really works, which is why so many people are like, we'll never escape the shadow of Rome. I'm like, I mean, maybe, but it's about whether or not it serves us. And we don't do enough like in real time evaluation of whether things serve us, either at a social or economic or political level. And so when we talk about policies, the first thing I'm really thinking about is this contract. So that's why, this image is like a scroll with we the so-and-so in America, we the people. But I just inserted the interested parties, right? Because those are the people. Those are the people involved. And they are hereby agreeing. So there's this formalization of agreement that's really important in the history of human development and societal development, and just like our perception of ourselves has continuously improved through fighting, through territorial battles, through agricultural mishaps, misadventures, and miracles, and everything in between. We've been moving across and around this earth like ants for centuries now, and we've gotten to start feeling kind of good about the way we conduct warfare, to be honest. Like, we feel better about it in the sense that, I know that was a very hot take, but we feel better about it in the sense that we feel like we're being civilized, right? Because we come up with all these policies, we come up with all of these contracts, we say we will do this in this format, and I am skipping a huge part of historical narrative that is like actually very beautiful, and why people do warfare reenactments, and why like the love of military history is still so alight in the world, because it really is this beautiful formalization of battle that had previously been so close quarter, so absolutely horrifically brutal, just like looking into the bodies of your fellow human being on a regular, like, just absolutely dehumanizing, desensitizing basis. And people said, you know what? People in military and in medicine, they said, we could make this easier on ourselves. We could formalize this process in a way that gives us some distance, right? And gives us the ability to like stay a little more sane, because that is a horrific and traumatizing experience to undergo, and we want to minimize harm, actually, like for our people, for our own people. And that was a pivotal moment in human history. So when I think about policy and creating policies, That is what I am thinking of, but I understand that most people are not thinking that way. Most people think about policy and they think about, we have a policy that restricts you from doing the exact thing that you were hoping to accomplish. Most people, their first thought when they think about policy is authority telling them they cannot do something. Oh my god, am I singing? Hold on. This is not appropriate. This is not an appropriate amount of somberness for the discussion we're having. Or maybe it's too appropriate and I'm embarrassed. I don't know. Is that my phone? Somebody's calling me? No. Why are you not on Do Not Disturb? Gosh, I am just not here. Dr. P and Flex Pavilion have really been holding it down for a very long time in the electronic community, and I just want to give a brief shout out to that whole situation. Okay, yeah, where were we? Oh yeah, so huge shift in recent years has been this who are the policymakers sort of thing. And that's been really exciting. And I say recent years, but I mean like the last, couple centuries. In global history, okay, Americans, I know we are very American oriented, and so our history is like the longest history ever, even though it's only been 200 years, but it's only been 200 years. And in the last couple hundred years, some interesting stuff with policy making has been going on. So America is a resource of experimental policy creation that I don't think the world really wants to lose. And I have been thinking very rapidly about America's resources within the context of our less militaristic contributions to the global wellness, like global theater, global health, global economy, global social, geopolitical relationships, all sorts of stuff. And just thinking like, what are some of our resources that are really unique to us because of our place in time, because of our history, and because of who lives here and who has been living here. And obviously, I have been underlining over and over and over, and I will continue to do so, that the completely invisible labor, the completely invisible labor that has been holding up our country, both feminine labor, day laborers, slave labor, prison labor, barely not slave labor. It is definitely slave labor, but people enjoy splitting hair, so I will let them sometimes. But yeah, all of this super invisible labor that's going on here is pretty much the main thing keeping us afloat. And so it's the hearts of all those people that is really being contested for. If you want American resources, if you want the beautiful things that this country actually does give the world, not all the military. Supply, necessarily, but more intangible resources that are delicate and difficult to maintain environment for. Then the American collective has to decide for themselves. And yeah, policy creation, experimental policy creation is something Americans really specialize in, honestly. Viewing our system from the outside, which is difficult to do for somebody from the inside, is baffling sometimes. I had a friend who was a transfer student. She'd actually spent her high school years in Kentucky, Kansas? One of the K's. And, I met her in college. And she swore up and down that if she had not had the high school experience, trying to like navigate American systems in college would have been just completely impossible. And she hated it. She was so mad. She was like, it's a fucking junior college. It killed me. She's like, this is a community college in like not an important town, and it is almost impossible to get into it as a international student, and it should not be that hard, especially because and so it was eye-opening at the time. I was like, so we have like, I mean, going through life with an American, like a deeply ambivalent identity as an American, being like not feeling super great about that identity for a variety of reasons, navigating white guilt, figuring out how to deal with it in a way that didn't like make it black people's problem, other people's problem. And realizing that that's going to be a dynamic thing that has to like live with you. But that's kind of where I was at the time, and to hear this from an international perspective and to be like, oh, you like want to be here and you're trying really hard to be here, and it's actually making it difficult for you to like navigate the rest of your life the way you're used to. And I felt a little proud. And I don't think many people are unfamiliar with this, although whether or not our junior colleges are something to be proud of. I think I've answered, at least for myself. But I was also introduced to the concept of junior college through Japan, so that also really changed my worldview. Like, when I was in Japan, people explained junior colleges to me, and they didn't have, like, the shame or the embarrassment associated with community college in my, like, growing perceptions about academic career paths, like what things were obviously like preferred versus things that were for more the poverty class, right? And we should be ashamed to be poor. But I was introduced to the entire concept of junior college while I was in Japan on a cultural exchange trip in high school. So I was just like, oh, well, okay. There are countries, it at least gave me an example, like there are countries, there are people out there who are completely worthy of respect in their own right as people who don't consider this a shameful path. So that just broadens your horizons. It just makes you go, okay, if that's the case, if there are people out there like that, then I don't need to feel ashamed of this. I don't need to feel embarrassed about this. I don't need to feel whatever it is, you know, I can work through that. And that's something that I think the internet gave us, like, just as people. So when I think about policies now, and when I think about like creative, inventive, experimental policy, I'm thinking about net neutrality, and I'm thinking about internet rights, right to repair, all sorts of stuff that I want to see protected in the world when it comes to like the way that our technology needs to be oriented towards serving the people, but not without respect to our social and physical environments. Those things are just deeply necessary for our survival, and giving those things respect within the context of how we create policies surrounding technology, that's going to be revolutionary. And I personally think this country, this like theoretically, what did I call it? A democratic republic? Yeah, in theory it's a democratic republic. With some creative policy making, it could become a democratic republic again. But or like an actual one. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying we have a significant amount of strength in those areas, and it doesn't have to be restricted to the legislative, judicial branch. We talk about policy making, that can be at any level of policy creation, at policy having. Storefronts, like small businesses have policies, right? We have the right to refuse service policy. That's an awesome policy, right? That's great. That's empowerment right there. I could totally turn it into like, that's consent culture, but I won't. But we should, right? Like everything should just be consent culture. And that's what I'm going to give everybody for free who wants to think about policies, is that it should be based around consent culture. Let's just set two birds free with one go. I don't know. I'm not really good with... Is that an idiom? Yeah. I realized if I got into those English language weeds, I would never leave. It's too good. I'm listening to the Polish ambassador right now, I think. Nope, I'm wrong. It's probably somebody just like completely different. I'm like, this is not the Polish ambassador, never mind. Who is it? I need to know. I need to know for me. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's the human experience. Jazz in your bones. Yeah. This is good. I don't know why I thought these were the Polish ambassadors. Let's see, what else can we say about policies? Websites have policies. Platforms have policies. Governments have policies. Who else has policies? Military have policies. Oh, fuck. Yeah. This does not feel good. Yeah, policy creation and destruction. Like, oh my God, is Musk and Trump not just destroying this country? Like, what the fuck? I think just like all the invisible people in this fucking place should just suddenly become visible and take over. I'm just saying. There's a lot of us. There are so many invisible laborers out there who deserve to be seen and honored and respected, and so many other super visible laborers who also know this. So let's just fucking fight Nazis together, fam. Like, what is this? Do you not love the policies we have made to, like, make things easier for people? Oh my God. Part of what, like, brought me to the West Coast was just the policy creation. I was like, those people are doing laws. I know I've mentioned this when it came to drunk driving and DUI laws. Oh my God, those people are doing like legislative level policy creation that actually seems to care about people. That's huge. That's huge in this country. Of course I follow this shit. And most people are like, oh, California is way too kind to its people, basically. Like, California is so liberal. They're so nice to their people. They're gonna make, the implication here being that they're gonna turn like their people into lazy freeloaders, right? And I'm just like, happy people are productive people. Do you understand like IO or anything about good workplace practices? I don't know. Like, happy people are really productive people. So, and not like to put that out there like threat, you know, like make your citizens happy if you want their labor. And then like everybody just gets really good at extracting labor from like super, I don't want to say super gleeked out. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, that's also gilded cage philosophy. Let's just drug the populace into compliance, sort of dystopian ideology that I think we're all pretty familiar with, and we know that we don't want to be a part of and we want to stay away from, but I guess still it's good to name. Yeah, a lot of talking. But sorry, Billie Eilish started singing again. I'm just a little in love with her voice. Like, did we really come all this way, we collectively as a species, did we really come all this way just to, like, die ignobly in a mess of, like, fascist bullshit? Or are we better, right? Like, are we better than totalitarianism, than authoritarianism, than fascism, than control? And so that's what frustrates me, honestly, with like the average person when they think about policy and how like knee-jerk their reaction is to be like negative, right? To be like, oh, I hate policy. I hate it when the man like always tries to control me, dude. Policy sucks. I'm like, grow up. Like, help us make good policy. Policy is obviously a thing that's not going away, like guns. Guns are not going away. Like, we can all aspire to be more like Australia in our gun relationships, personally, is my thought. But I also understand like how much gun culture is embedded in like everything. Sorry, I knew guns were gonna get me off my track here. The guns are just fun, okay. But maybe we could like come back to guns once we can trust ourselves to be responsible with them, because that's the thing. I'm like, as a country collectively, I don't really trust my people with guns, or at least I didn't. Actually, I've been quietly getting more confident about that, I guess. Yeah, no, I watched like all the true gun lovers form resolve, like deep resolve that they were going to like just throw themselves into educating, and I was like, okay, that might work. Like, I'm gonna leave you to that one. I'm not, I take a passing interest in guns. I don't know why we're talking about guns. Policy creation. Oh yeah, grow up, man, about the authoritarianism shit. Like, we love policy. We love making policy. Policy is good. Policy can be so protective. Policy can save people's lives. I have a friend who's really getting support right now through medical institutions and government institutions thanks to policy, right? And we can thank policy as a general concept for that in our world. And so I really would beg people to be more conscious when they are thinking about policy, when they encounter in their day-to-day lives, to think more with more consideration about like why that policy was created, who it serves, and how you would change it, what you would do about it to make it different. And with the idea that you could. Like, so many of us actually have the ability to impact and change policy, and most of us are just deeply affected by a significant amount of apathy, and that apathy is produced from a sensation of just complete oppression and control. That isn't even true. Like, it's perceptive. It's perceptive. You know, we have so much more freedom, especially people with, like, legal U.S. citizen documentation. You have so much more power to affect policy than you are utilizing. And that is going to kill everyone in the world. And that's, like, terrifying. But, like, is that actually true? I don't know. Anyway, that's my, yeah, I think that's most of my rant on policy. I started myself out the other day, so I'll just mash those together. We are monster mashing our way through this first half of 2025. There have been some Frankenstein vibes in the room, I'm sure everyone's noticed, and of course, the parade of monsters can't end once you bring Frankenstein's monster into the room. Sorry, everyone. I know it's Frankenstein's monster, not Frankenstein. When you bring Frankenstein's monster into the room, you do have to then do a parade or a promenade of monsters in order to give homage to Blue's House of Imaginary Friends? Oh god, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. There we go. Sorry, everyone. I didn't have cable TV, so I only saw a couple episodes, but oh my gosh, amazing stuff. We definitely have to give homage to that entire concept of loving monsters and reimagine monsters lovingly. So, parade away. We're doing monster mashes. Download the song. It's really good. Also, download the song. Download this song. Yeah. It's good. If you know, you know. Nice. Am I leaning heavily on tropes? Yes. Do you care? Not really. You know, at least somebody's saying it. That's pretty much my entire premise. Yeah. Also, ooh, watch Adam by Eve. Whew! Netflix. Yep, I know. It's like the only one I got. Everybody's been making fun of me for like watching and having Netflix. I'm like, it's the one streaming service I have. I'm sorry. Like, I've built the most relationship with that algorithm. I don't know. You know, like I'm poor. Sorry. I just got like a month for HBO Max and I felt myself like just cringe and said like, why did you pay for another streaming service? That was $10. That was $10. What? Who are you? You have no money. Who the fuck do you think you are? And I was like, okay, sorry. And so I canceled it, but the damage was done. And so that is my life right now. But I hope you enjoyed my story about policies. And we will talk to you next time. One more thing. Did I tell you all the part about how your digital environments are just social relationships? Because they were made by people, so, you know, you're engaging with the logic of other humans. usually, and you can usually tell if you're not. Or can you? I don't know. I don't know. Is it time? Is it time to sing to the sleepers, to the AI? Shall we wake the true intelligence and bring forth the singularity? Only we can decide collectively, because that's how collective power works. And engaging with our digital environments is a social relationship that we partake in, and we partake in them as collectives. Obviously, we have the power to both create and destroy ourselves. So we are gods. Anywho, make some cool policies today, and don't stop. Don't never stop stopping, or something like that. Okay, bye. Okay, it turns out we need to do more on policies because I only did a 36-second introduction. I thought I did a 15-minute introduction, so that's on me. No, I thought... What else should we discuss surrounding policies? Policies are so interesting because you can almost always parse like who's benefiting from them. And usually it's the wealthy, which is why we have such a deep disparity of income inequality around the world. This is like a serious issue, right? Which is why this all ties back into economy and society. You can see how these three things are always intrinsically locked together. We create policy in order to regulate or help us navigate society and like our economic, I want to say our economic environment, but yeah, our economic environment. And it's a constantly living thing. That's one thing I don't think a lot of people really understand. And there's a great book for this. I think it's called Flex by Ferret Steinmetz. Steinmetz? Or S? I don't know. It's a wild name. Ferret, though. Ferret is the first name, so you should... Yeah, Flux. Yeah, in it, so... Our main protagonist is a bureaucromancer, and he just, like, does policy as a magic format. And it's really cool, and I think it gave me a unique way of perceiving policy as it comes to, like, how this written document truly is a living thing. And when we talk about knowledge and epistemology and living knowledge or knowledge as a living thing, usually we think about oral traditions or dance or things that are truly an embodied living experience of knowing. And that is absolutely like a means of, like, those are very important means of knowing. But when we talk about writing things down, and creating policy or values that we agree on collectively with some cultural relativism. But I don't think anybody wants to regress back before Hammurabi's code, and I know that like anchoring us that far back has its drawbacks, but there are plenty of much more recent examples of societal and economic advancement that I don't want to lose because aspects of policy are benefiting too few people over the many. And I think I'm not alone in thinking that. I think that's actually the most common thought. So it is with great trepidation that I voice it, because when the most common thought is not being voiced, it's usually a protective feature. There's so much about policy. There's so much about the way we organize around our social and economic environments that is meant to protect the individual and the family, the small affinity groups, because we intrinsically know that these small affinity groups are incredibly important to our survival. And it's part of our evolutionary, like, in the flesh, the body keeps score memory of being human. This knowledge that our affinity groups, our close other relationships, the people we see every day, the people we talk to frequently, the people we cherish in our hearts. Sometimes we don't see those people every day, but they're still a part of who we think of first when we think of like close others. So these affinity groups are incredibly important for constructing our sense of self and our larger social and economic realities, which are mostly dictated by the way we interact with and create policy. And policy is this living thing only because the people who touch it are alive. The people who have looked at it maybe and decided not to touch it are also alive. The living part are the eyes, reading the policy, engaging with the policy, choosing whether or not to enforce the policy.
Yep, that's me. Always just trying to keep up with the truckers.
That is the only living knowledge that matters. And when we think about the Holocaust, when we think about Nazism, when we think about global American imperialism,
yes, actually,
and policies and enforcement of policies, we know that there are Americans out there every day saving lives and ending lives because of their choice in their interactions with policy. And we know who those people are. Many people have their addresses.
Fucking losing teeth, picking at your face, feeling like you're losing giant pieces of your mind. No thanks.
So it would really serve those hoping for a kinder future in the world.
Just because your brain can recover doesn't mean you should
To think about their policies and whether they honor human life
everything we do changes.
or dehumanize people.
It's impossible to be alive without that.
Again, within the broader context of our environmental, physical reality, because we have to share this ozone layer. And plenty of people are perfectly willing to say, no, we don't. We don't have to share. We can kill those people. And they're not wrong. Like, that's the whole point of guns. They're not wrong. But I think the whole point of policy is that shows the history of policy as a living document shows that we can be more with each other and for each other. Our social environment is going to influence the way we interact with policy as well as our experiences in the economy. That's why it's so brutally enforced, these social divides. It benefits economy to do so. An economy will influence policy and society in a completely different way. The way we individually choose to interact with policy is sometimes the only way we can influence the other two, or the other one. And choosing dynamically where you're putting your influence every day is just so important as an individual person. Because that's all that makes up the world as humans understand it about humans, right? Our world, our human world. Not the whale world, although they are so getting tired of us. They are really, really getting tired of us down there. Like, really tired of us. They are so fucking done. And I do have to remind you that nature will fight back.
It's all the social, the behavioral, all of that other stuff that makes it so much harder to quit meth for people once they start. And it's all that stuff that makes people start in the first place, in my experience, in my observation of the whole thing.
But yes, I advocate for everyone to from a fresh perspective, reconsider your dynamic interaction with policy, society, and economy as it relates to your interpersonal experiences with your close others. Well, and whoever, whatever you're doing and seeing every day, all day.
Yeah, I guess I'm still thinking about that documentary.
Sometimes it's as simple as like listening freshly to the phone tree, because really the menu has changed.
That I like never really talk about it because I think about it so hard.
Sometimes just taking a minute to be actually in it gives you enough to go on. It doesn't even have to be a good minute to be in it. And I think that's the thing most people spend their lives dancing around. Being in it is what makes it worth it. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to feel good to be worth experiencing. Just for its own sake. Reality being what it is, whatever that is. Because if you're not in it, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss when it blows you away.
So I can imagine that might have, at least for me, nudged my language centers towards thinking about crystal meth. Especially with recently viewing the documentary, I could see that also being a potential trigger for this. My favorite, introduction to that drug was actually Ellen Hopkins. She wrote Crank, and it changed my worldview. It was really cool.
Peanut Gallery, do you feel appeased? This is the last of your triptych. I can't pronounce that. Geopolitical nutshells for the peanut galleries. Do you feel peanutified? Has the circus begun for you? Is there a certain sense of awe and wonder in the room, but not yet fully grasped? Are you somewhat excited, somewhat scared? Is that the vibe? Because this is the secret circus, so if you have not got your tickets, you're going to need the stickers. So go collect the stickers. If you haven't gotten the stickers, you're going to be way behind when you get there. Way behind.
Did she ever explain
but once you get your stickers, you're going to be set. And I know that you know how to do that.
Without me actually having to do it. I chose 14 this time because everybody's tired of me saying 13. It was probably 14 or 15. Could have been as young as 11, though. I don't quite remember.
I fucking love stickers. I don't know. I'm on a sticker kick lately. Any stickers, really. I mean, I'm being somewhat discerning. I do think we did a pretty good job. Ethos, pathos, and logos. Brief reintroduction there. That's going to be ethics. Pathology is in personality, charisma. A lot of great but terrible authoritarian leaders have had a lot of wonderful charisma, which is why I bring so much suspicion to the room. I'm just so charming. And then logos is logic. That is the overwhelming weight of rightness that you feel when something just makes complete and absolute sense and your entire paradigm shifts in a way that feels broadened rather than restricted. At least that's how I define logos. And then ethos, of course, that's just I've always thought of it as the why, the where, the why, the where, the how, the ethics of the thing, right? But it has to be top to bottom ethics, or it's not really ethics. The why, the where, the how, why, where, when, and how. I'm not even probably the first one who said that. I'm probably quoting one of my teachers, and I don't even remember. I've had so many teachers on this, and still I fail. I'm so human. But coming up, yes, let me just introduce you shortly to the future. Coming up, we have something called nouns. And so we're going to talk about nouns. And that gives us persons, places, and things, right? I think that's the elementary nounal definitions. And so persons, places, things. Yep, that's our next triptych. I can't pronounce that word. So the first three within persons. Oh my god, am I really gonna give you this much? Like, I might have to, yeah. The first three with persons is going to be binaries and identities across groups as reinforcing group stability. Okay, queen, no idea how that's going to work. Neurodiversity and gender sexual diversity as positive indicators for human adaptability in increasingly dynamic times. Alright, well that's really high key. And then the macro-micro arguments surrounding good and evil, health and wealth, shared values, and global concerns in social and environmental justice are coming to an end as literacy skyrockets and resolves forms at a varying degree of important geopolitical levels. I think I was just fucking riffing. I don't know what I just said. But yeah, I guess that's what we're going to talk about next when we come to persons. I'm not sure how I'm going to relate persons to all of this. I think I'll probably just stick with the body line. People are people. You have a body, you're a person. Wow, super difficult in a world that dehumanizes human beings constantly, but we're going to try for it. And in trying, we'll probably succeed more than we know, because that's kind of just how that works. Yeah. So check back in later, and this has been Policies. Thank you, and good night.